I'm always doing the like robot when that song plays for some reason. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm getting into it, y'all. What's up? Hey, twisted people. Welcome to WandaVision, episode 7. We are talking about it because so many things occurred and we got to talk about it, y'all. We got to talk about it. I'm your host, Chauncey K. Robinson, aka Twisted CKR, and I'm joined by my comic book loving brother from the same mother, Damon Robinson, D-Rock-a-Block. What's up, Damon?
How y'all doing? How you doing, man?
Yeah. So we're talking about it. We're talking about WandaVision. We're at episode 7. There's about, I think 9 episodes total, right? I think it's about 9 episodes total. So after this one, we got like 2 more. And I do believe the final episode, our final review of an episode will be on your birthday, March 6th.
Yes.
So, I mean, it only seems fitting that we'll be doing that. And so we have that going on. And yeah, we're both Pisces. Mine is March 1st, his is March 6th. Don't ask us how our mom worked that out, but she's got 2 Pisces. So we got a lot to talk about, y'all. And once again, we are always so appreciative of all of you who are joining us in the live chat and also those of you who are watching in the replay. You always make slicing into good storytelling or bad storytelling, slicing into storytelling in general, a lot of fun. I know Victoria, who is in the chat, has been waiting to get into WandaVision. Victoria is super excited to dive into what's going on, and we're always happy to have you here, Victoria.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, so, you know, what we want to do. What's up, Chloe? Thanks so much for joining us in the live chat and all of you. And if you haven't given this video a thumbs up or a like, please do so if you haven't already. And also subscribe if you haven't, because we slice into storytelling here. And if you like that sort of thing, that's what we do. So you should subscribe. Okay, so what we're going to do today, it was episode 7, breaking the fourth wall. A lot of things to discuss, main 2 things to discuss in terms of the revelations that happened when it came to it. So, you know, as we do here, if you're new here, one of the things we do is we pose a question to you all to think about so that we can get to it later on. We talk about our overall thoughts of the episode, and then we get into some of the details of things because, you know, you gotta slice into it. It's autopsy, TV autopsy, to get into what happened. And then we want to talk about our theories and our Easter eggs. And there were plenty in this episode, some very significant Easter eggs that we got when it came to here. So the question we want to pose to you all in the beginning of this is, do you think Agatha, who was Agnes, Damon was right, y'all. Damon was right from the very beginning. He kept saying, you know, even last week when they tried to throw us off about Agnes being Agatha, Damon held firm. He wavered a little, but he held firm that it was her behind some of this stuff. So, you know, what we want to ask you, though, is do you think Agatha is a friend or foe? Now, because looks can be deceiving, we learned in this show. So even though someone can look like they're suddenly the big bad, you know, they could possibly not be the big bad. That's what everyone's thinking with Wanda, that she was the main cause of all of this. And now we're seeing that maybe someone else was pulling some strings. So the question we want to ask to all of you in the chat and also in the replay and let us know, think about as we talk about is do you think Agatha is ultimately a friend or a foe when it comes to this rendition of Agatha? And we're going to get into who Agatha is. Agatha Harkness is, and some of her history in the Marvel comics, and now her introduction in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, because we got to talk about it, you know. Yeah, so Red Eye's already in the chat. Say, hey guys, got to give it up to big bro Damon. You guys stroking his ego right now. Stroking his ego. That's fine. He's very happy that he was right.
Hey, when you're right, you're right, right?
Right. Although I will say I was also right, because some of y'all were telling me Wanda was kind of the main force behind this. And I was saying that something else is going on. So, you know, some people are already giving answers. Agnes is definitely 100% foe. Did you see her theme music? Yeah, but, you know, maybe she has her own kind of thought process that may not be ultimately completely evil. So we'll see. Kat Harlem is saying, I think both. She wants to help Wanda, but for selfish reasons. Exactly. And that actually connects to, in a way, Agatha's history in the Marvel comics as well when it comes to the relationship dynamic that her and Scarlet Witch, Wanda have. So I think you may be onto something in that. Victoria say, I want to believe she's bad, which means she's probably good. So Victoria wants her to be evil. You gotta let us know why you want that, Victoria. Why you want her to be the big bad. Rod saying, go Damon, we knew it was Agatha. All right, Rod's kind of jumping in on your like it was always that. See, you and me, Damon. We always knew it was Agatha. All right. So okay, so overall, Damon, what were your thoughts of episode 7? What did you think about this one?
It was a good episode. It brought to light all the things I was saying, most of them anyway.
Mm-hmm.
I still think I'm right about who the big bad is going to be. You know, I think it's
You don't think it's Mephisto?
Yeah, I don't think Agatha. I believe she's like a henchman or something like that for the big bad.
Okay.
You know what I mean? You know, it's always that the guy they send first.
Yes.
Like, you know, so that's what I'm thinking she is right now.
Yeah.
You know? Oh, sorry, I'm kind of out of it today, guys.
Yeah, he went to a party last night, y'all. Not a party, just a friend thing with our cousin. Yeah. Don't worry, he's staying safe in this time. Don't worry, y'all. Just a birthday celebration thing. Okay, so but overall with the episode itself, I know we had the main thing with Agatha, but what did you think in terms of how they structured this episode? We kind of had the Modern Family talk to the camera kind of office kind of vibe.
I mean, they followed along with what they've been doing, you know, the sitcom thing. They followed along with it. I wasn't surprised by this. I knew sooner or later they was gonna get to I guess a Modern Family. What would you call it? Something.
Modern Family. Well, I mean, it's the 2000s. So you have The Office, you have Parks and Recreation, you have Modern Family. Although I think they did more Modern Family than not. Especially with the camera stuff that they were doing. That was very Modern Family. And also Modern Family is ABC 7. Well, ABC 7 for those of us who from New Jersey and stuff, but it's ABC, which is also connected to Disney. So
yeah, I was.
Red Eye saying Damon was having a victory party for being right about Agnes. Yes. Ray is saying Agatha is the Loki of WandaVision for Thanos. Okay. Kat is saying, did anyone tell Damon last week that Pietro died saving Hawkeye and a child, not Wanda?
Yeah. He did.
Yeah. And Ray is saying, I think she will be the main antagonist of season 1. I don't think Disney is going to bring in the true big bad of this comic storyline in one season. I agree with that. The question is, we also have to talk about this when we talk the theories, is do we think there's going to be a season 2 of this? I mean, can there be in the midst of Wanda's supposed to be in Doctor Doom? Will that affect season 2? Maybe it's not just tied to this idea of this force field in Jersey. Maybe we'll just get a show of Wanda and Vision on missions and stuff, which would also be pretty cool if they get past this moment. So I guess we'll see, because the question is this just a season 1, or is this going to be a real seasonal type of show? Or is it just a one-off and they're calling it season 1 kind of a deal? Because they didn't call it a miniseries. They didn't. So there's a good chance there may be a sequel, a second season, but I wonder how it's going to be affected by the movies and such.
I mean, maybe they could this time do it better, because they tried to connect the movie through Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. like the first couple of seasons.
Yeah,
but it never really kind of worked for me.
Yeah, Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Maybe now they got a better grasp on it, and they could do that with this WandaVision show, where they could connect this TV series or with the movies. I think that'd be great, though. They can try. This show is definitely good enough to where I would like to see a second season. If they don't show us who's the big bad is in this season.
Yeah. For sure.
I'm here for it if they want to do that.
I would love a second season of this, even if it wasn't the whole force field thing. I think the writers have showed of this series that they can take this in a lot of angles. And I think we're saying we can, in a little bit, we could do not a little bit, like towards the end, maybe we might want to talk about a side thing, because Fantastic Four actually plays into this with Agatha and stuff. And there's been some talk about Fantastic Four and casting and things like that, and the connection with Scarlet Witch and all of that you kind of, it's kind of hard sometimes when you have TV shows that also are definitely connected to the movie franchises, because, we have, we have Hawkeye series coming for some reason soon. No shade, but we have a Hawkeye series coming, TV series. I don't necessarily know why, but I guess he has some fans. Hawkeye, and no shade, or a little bit of shade. And then we also have Falcon and Winter Soldier, and so they also pop up and stuff too. And I don't know if this is going to just be one season for them. So there's may be a thing where we get multiple kind of seasons. So there's something with that. And we have to talk about what this connects to, because we do only have 2 episodes left. So it's like, where are we going to get to in the finale? And is the finale going to be one of those things where we have to wait until a movie comes out to see the continuation? Or, we do get the second season? Yeah.
I hope not. I hope we don't have to wait for a movie.
Yeah.
Even though I believe Wanda deserves a movie also.
Yeah. But I think we're getting to the point in our day and age, for content wise, with all the accessibility, that you don't necessarily need a movie to be just as important. Yeah, and I think that's what we saw with WandaVision thus far. Yeah. Ray is saying, I would love to see Wanda and Vision have a show that touches the MCU, but just from their personal perspective, lives, and adventures. I think that would be awesome. Ray is saying, did you see the Wanda Pietro trick or treat posters already from the Halloween episode? They were propaganda posters from the 60s. No, I did. Where was that at?
Maybe those were the things that was up behind. Remember, I had said I didn't know the pictures that was behind the lady who was giving them.
Yeah, someone did give us an update of what that was. Okay, that was the ones. Okay, yeah, yeah.
Thank you. I was wondering what those was.
Yeah, Ray is saying, Hawkeye fan, where is he?
You
get it, Ray.
In the comic books, Hawkeye and Wanda, it's a link there.
It is. There is. He helped them out. He helped them out in the time when
in comic books, they were an item.
Yeah, but Vision was in love with Wanda. Yeah, but he's got a wife and kids now.
I mean, now in MCU, he got a wife and kids, but
she also brought him back to life or something, because he was dead in the reality or whatever somehow. Victoria saying, big ups to the creative writing team for sure. Victoria saying, I'm wondering if the movies have to come out first, and with the delays, it might delay a second season. That's another thing to deal with. Victoria saying, never seen a Hawkeye fan in real life. Yes, see, you get it. David trying to play nice. That Hawkeye actually got fans.
I think
it's like a unicorn. Honestly, you don't see them.
Look, honestly, till these movies, it ain't like Black Widow had a great fan following from the comic books. No.
But in the movies,
they got Scarlet who play her, now she's got a big following.
But Hawkeye been in the movies too.
True. But I'm just saying,
didn't take off.
They got to try to play him up some. I don't know.
Anyway, all right.
Maybe people don't like. Maybe people don't like him being.
I don't know. All right, so let's jump into the actual happenings. And I will just say that I really did enjoy this episode. I love the Modern Family take. I love breaking the fourth wall. I think by breaking the fourth wall, we actually got a lot more into Wanda's psyche of things, and that she's not really, as I'm not gonna say as there, but she's stressed, and things are kind of getting weirder for her as well, and she's experiencing it as it goes as well. And I love the fact that she got to talk to the fourth wall, because it was like in this moment she got to kind of tell us what she was really thinking about. So I liked that aspect of it, because we finally got a little bit of a unfiltered kind of thing about where she is. So there's there's that kind of aspect of it. So let's jump into the things that actually happened. Some of the main things, we could focus a bit on Wanda, but first let's get to the opening of the show, which was really funny. It kind of had this, and the little, there were little messages in the title sequence, which might have been Agatha, saying, the whole idea of created by Wanda Maximoff, like this whole WandaVision created by Wanda. The opening credits really just put it out there that this is Wanda. Wanda did this. And
like you said, when Vision, she was like, you got to stop. Remember, she was telling Vision, like, blamed it all on Wanda. Which was her faking Agatha
faking it's all Wanda, and then Wanda wakes up alone because Vision didn't make it home. So what we see is that this episode is taking pretty much the night after Halloween. So we're in Halloween 2000 somehow though, but that's where we're at. And that she's waking up alone. She's talking to the camera. She actually explains, hey, I expanded the universe. Things happen, and it's kind of funny that they were playing it that way because it was kind of playing down. It was like MCU domestic style, which I kind of thought was a very funny way of doing it. And then she talked about, quarantine. She's like basically keeping herself away from everyone. Yeah. And then we see that Wicca, Tommy and Billy are trying to wake her up, and that Wicca is saying that he's having some issues, right? Because he hears everybody's thoughts. And this is going to play into his interaction. This plays into his interaction with Agatha later. And basically, Wanda doesn't want to get out of bed. She's back. She's kind of sad, depressed, and whatnot. And she's just like, I don't want to hear it. She's not even trying to hear Wicca's power problems at all. So Wiccan and Speed. Yeah, definitely. And so, the twins are saying, hey, Ma, you got to do something. Our video games are acting up because like their video games are going from PlayStation to Xbox,
Atari
to
Uno card.
To Uno cards. And so that was happening. So basically what we see is that there's a glitch going on. Now, we don't know if it's because she expanded it and she just wasn't at the power level to be able to expand it and keep it stable. That might be a thing going on with it. And so things are going on. And even Wanda starts to notice it, that things are glitching and messing up and whatnot. And so what we have is eventually Agatha comes over just in the nick of time and she wants to go babysit the kids. And I immediately got weirded out from that. I'm like, why does Agatha want to take the kids? I mean, I know she babysits, but at the time I try to stay away from spoilers before watching each episode. So I was like, well, this is just her doing something and maybe Wanda having a chance on her own. So when she's
been doing that through the whole series. Anytime, it's something that they need, something to pop up. Mm-hmm. So I thought at first I figured it was going, through what usually happens with her. It wasn't until they was at her house
that you started to see like there's something sinister going on.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ra is saying, I think Fig said this will play out as a trilogy. Part 1, WandaVision. Part 2, Spider-Man. 3 and Part 3, Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. Okay. So they're saying it's a whole thing. I don't know if that plays into the answer or whether or not we'll get another WandaVision season, which I think a lot of people want, and where that would stand. Red Eyes is saying Wanda phoned it in this episode. And Ray is saying, I think we really seeing the break happen with Wanda and her psyche. I hope this ain't the disappearance of her kids. It's too soon. And I don't think a sufficient bond is there for her true mental break. Yeah. And I think what Ray is referring to is kind of the theory we have been talking about on this stream, on our streams here, where the twins are actually parts of Mephisto. And that eventually what happens in the comics is that the kids are absorbed back into Mephisto. And Agatha actually plays a role in Wanda sort of getting over that by wiping her memory clean of the twins for a time in the comic books. So, and I agree with you, Ray. I do think it'll be too soon. And I just really like the twin boys. I think they're very cute and I think it works. And I kind of want them to stay around a little bit longer. Maybe that could be part of the season 2 of WandaVision, them raising 2 kids with powers and also trying to function and everything. I think there's possibilities there. So I also agree that I hope this isn't something that rushes to that part. So, what we get is Agatha walking off. So that's kind of what happens with Wanda until Monica comes in. And what we have let's talk about Monica for a second, right? Because there were some things that happened with that were great, but also other things that were kind of like, is that it with Monica? Which we, yes. The main thing that was that's it was that up for a couple episodes, there were things where Monica was building up her going to meet this engineer. And I think all over the internet, everywhere, even here in the chat and also in the replay, thank you all for joining us. We were like, oh, maybe it's Reed Richards, from Fantastic Four. And even I saw, people talking about it online and in different communities, thinking maybe it might be Blue Marvel, which is a actual Black superhero from the comics that Monica has a connection to, called Blue Marvel. And so people were like, one of the two. Everyone was thinking it was one of their two. And what we ended up getting was Major Goodner, who's not from the MCU. I tried to look it up, right? I did not see her, or others had looked it up and did not see a Goodner in the MCU. And so I'm wondering, right? And I was like, is this who she was supposed to meet? Or is this the person she got help from sent? Because it just seems weird, because even the actress who plays Monica had said that some fans had figured it out. Some intuitive fans had figured out who she was going to meet. So it's kind of weird. Like, I don't think anyone would have thought it was just some rando person, So do you think this was a fake out, Damon? Let us know in the chat and also in the replay. Or do you think it really was a letdown?
It probably was a letdown because whatever they sent, it didn't work anay. So, I mean,
yeah, the thing that it wasn't as impressive. Yeah, all that.
So maybe it was a throw off for us not figuring she's gonna go back in, and that's how they're gonna have her get her powers.
Yeah, it was just kind of weird because I honestly thought we were going to get a Reed Richards. But I also know in the real world, our world, y'all, as real as it is, that they just started doing a script for Fantastic Four. So despite certain troubling casting rumors, such as Jennifer Lawrence potentially playing Sue Storm, please know that we don't have a cast yet. So I think that kind of cancels out seeing Reed Richards in WandaVision, because they haven't cast anybody for the supposedly the upcoming Fantastic Four movie. Although I contend that it should be a Fantastic Four TV series. I don't want there to be a Fantastic Four movie. I think they should do a TV series. But either way, whatever it ends up being, they don't have a cast. So I think that does cancel out it being Reed Richards anyway. But I just felt like it was going to be somebody we knew, and it wasn't anybody. And that kind of threw me off.
Yeah, it threw me off too. I actually wrote in my notes. I was like, that was kind of let down.
Yeah, I was like, Goodner, and I put a question mark. I was like, who is this?
but we know that they try to throw us off because they threw a lot of people off with
Agatha
and Agatha at the light. That threw a lot of people off.
A lot of people threw away their theories. Yeah, except you, Damon. You stuck with it. Yeah. Everyone else gave up, but you and Ra and you stuck with it. Bannon is saying, yeah, wondering if this was a misdirect, but why? Exactly. I was like, all that. And I know the actress actually gave an interview.
And it fizzled out. That was crazy. I'm thinking we're going to draw through everything. We're going to see what's going on. Like, huh?
Yeah, Red Eyes is saying, I think Monica met that person off camera because she said she was meeting a guy, not a girl. Okay. Ray is saying Monica is my new favorite Black superhero, but she did not want that smoke. Stay in your weight class, girl. Take on Hawkeye. What, in terms of going against Wanda? Yeah. I mean, she had just figured she probably had some. I don't even know if Monica's aware that she got powers when she went through. Ron saying, I think fans were hyping the engineer up too much. The engineer hasn't showed up yet. Okay, so you don't think so are we in agreement, y'all, that the engineer hasn't actually showed up?
So he's probably gonna pop up like, hold up, my machine didn't work.
Maybe that was it. Kat is saying it wasn't a fake out. The aerospace engineer hasn't been revealed yet. The fans whipped up the frenzy that someone but would be revealed this episode. Okay, so you think some people are thinking that we're still going to see him, but everyone kind of were confused because they figured we'd see this person this episode.
Well, like they said, they still got a cameo that hasn't. So it's still a person that we haven't seen yet, a character that's coming up. It's still left. So
exactly. Victoria saying, I feel they're going to drop hints like Marvel usually does. We will look back at this year from now and say, oh, yeah, a lot of people are agreeing with Victoria on that. Kat is saying it makes more sense the engineer will be revealed afterwards to see what happens to the vehicle when it didn't do the barrier. Vera, thanks for joining us in the chat. Vera saying misleading info on the engineer.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to highlight something Rod saying about Jude Law. Please, dear Lord, leave not Jude Law, Jennifer Lawrence away from Fantastic Four, any other franchise. Yes, from your ears to the powers that be. I don't think we need another one of that. Bannon is saying, I don't know if you noticed, Monica stopped herself from flying backwards when Wanda threw her. I think she is stronger than we think. Oh, no, I agree. And we'll get to that part for sure.
The Miss Marvel, the Captain Marvel she became was powerful.
Yeah, exactly.
It just she didn't get her powers this way. So I don't know, is these just some powers that she had that's going to dissipate? Or did they trying to say this is how she became that?
Mm-hmm.
They take a lot of liberties. I've been saying that since the MCU started making. They take a lot of liberties.
They do a lot of remixes. They definitely do a lot of remixes for better or worse. So, but also before we get to that part where she actually goes through, her and Monica and Wu, who we love Wu. We're saying in the thing they brought back up the cataract.
Yeah.
Mission and also kind of solidified what's going on with Hayward's interest in Vision. Basically, Hayward wants to bring Vision back online, couldn't figure out a way to do it, and then somehow Wanda did it, and that's why Hayward really wants just Vision back. It seems like he's willing to sacrifice Scarlet.
You know what? Hayward, his whole thing. They got the animated series, the Avengers Assemble.
Mm-hmm.
It was a thing where it was a guy, his name was Marsh or something like that. He was head of some type of organization in it, but actually he was Ultron acting like this guy, and he wanted the same thing, Vision's body. That's what he was after too.
So do you think Hayward might be Ultron in disguise?
I mean, I don't know if they would take that from an animated series and put it in there, but I mean, they own all of it. Why not?
Yeah, there's that too. Yeah. That is an option. But we definitely have learned that Hayward is definitely focused in on Vision, and somehow Wanda was able to bring Vision back when Sword or Hayward could not, and that's a big thing for them. So we get to the part where Monica tries to go through the big contraption that they have been building up for 2 to 3 episodes is not working. Wu sees it from the beginning, none of them see it, and basically Monica jumps out, and then she goes through, and we see a very interesting sequence of her being kind of pulled apart, and we even hear Nick Fury's words coming to her, talking about, why don't you shine like your Aunt Carol, glow like your Aunt Carol, which was really cool. So you hear Nick Fury's voice talking to her as like, shine, glow like your Aunt Carol and stuff like that. And then she comes together and we see her changed in a way. She has blue eyes for all of a bit, and she can see the ways that other people can't necessarily see. So we know she's been changed, and we saw that building up. So this is interesting because I know, Damon, you and I were saying, I was thinking that they weren't going to do that for her just yet. I thought that her origin of power, at least, was going to come, because we know Monica, if people have been paying attention to news, Monica's supposed to be in Captain Marvel 2. And I thought that we were going to get her powers revealed of some sort in that one, but it seems like it happened in WandaVision. Were you expecting that they were going to do her getting the powers in this one, in the TV series?
Actually, once Darcy told us to change her thing, that's when the idea popped in my head, and I said, because I believe we talked about it. I was like, I don't know if that's how they should do it, but but like I said, they take liberties to do what they want to do. It's an interesting twist.
Yeah,
we seeing that she gave somebody powers. Maybe maybe they'll say that Monica's a mutant and work it in.
That maybe something was triggered because Darcy also went through it, and we'll also see if Darcy is changed or any of the agents are changed, because it seems like Monica is the only one thus far where we've seen the scans. So it may be something already that was not switched on for her. Yeah, in Gene. Bannon is saying, I kind of liked this origin story with Monica. I take it all in stride. As comics have so many different versions of the same characters, it is sometimes hard to keep it all straight.
Yeah.
That's very true. Red Eyes say, I'm still calling Hayward as working with Agnes and the big bad. Okay, so Red Eyes is sticking with that theory. I definitely think Hayward has alternative motives with Vision. I just don't know if it's connected to Agatha. Bannon said, like, didn't Wiccan and Speed end up being sucked back into Mephisto, but then weren't they also in the Young Avengers? Yes, they were. They had a whole storyline in the Young Avengers. Yeah.
You know, they supposed, I guess they was reborn into, but their names was different.
I mean, Wiccan even marries somebody.
He marries the Skrull, the Skrull. The guy, he's a Kree and a Skrull hybrid.
Yeah.
He looks like the Hawk, but he's not. His name is Hawking, right?
Yeah.
But he's nothing. He's
Hawking. Yeah, he's not connected to the Hawk though.
He's able to morph his body like the Skrulls can.
Mm-hmm.
The Skrulls ones that can morph their bodies, right? Not the Kree.
Skrull. Yeah, I think the Skrull can change their view, because they were in Captain Marvel changing how they looked.
Yeah.
Bannon saying, showed Monica's strength of will. Is this close to when she was Spectrum? Perhaps, because she did see the colors.
Yeah, she did see light from a different spectrum. Yeah, exactly. So maybe they jump in. Yeah, hey.
Yeah, so maybe we'll see what her actual powers are. And Hawking, yes, was the character that Wiccan, Wiccan's boyfriend is a Skrull named Hawking. Yeah. So we see those things. Okay. Yeah, because they married. Progressive stuff in MCU when it wants to be. Yeah, I thought it was interesting. I didn't think we were going to get an origin story for her powers in this one. I honestly didn't think that we were going to get it. And it seems like we've gotten it. Now, how much she displays of her powers, or how much she even acknowledges that she has them in this series, is yet to be discovered. But we definitely know she got them here. Mm-hmm. So that's something. Okay, so Monica goes in. There's a whole thing with, her going straight to Wanda, and then Wanda's like, how'd you get back in here? Wanda don't want to hear it. She's like, you've been sinning. She's like, that wasn't us. And then we see that moment when Monica basically kind of breaks out of it and does as Deadpool calls it, the superhero stance that is bad on the knees, as Deadpool likes to call it, and but all superheroes have to do that at least once. And so and even Wanda looks a little thrown off. She's like, what you just, Wanda was like, hold up. Like, anyway, I'm about to take you out.
Wanda's on the verge of that nervous breakdown.
Yeah. And so I think, I felt like for a moment, I loved what Monica told her, though, because I do think it's kind of a callback to other stories that Scarlet Witch Wanda has been in, where Monica's like, don't let Hayward and others make you the villain of this story. And I thought that was kind of meta, because there has been discussions. I think it was like the West Coast Avengers plot line, where the guy who originally wrote that kind of made Scarlet Witch the bad guy in that. And there were times when it comes to Scarlet Witch's story where throughout the history of the story, some of the stories she's been in, she's kind of been painted not always in the best light, for the wrong reasons. Or some people could say sexism, whatever like that. And I felt like maybe that was a little bit of a call to, hey, you don't have to be the villain of this story. And I like that Monica was the one kind of appealing to her in that. And even talking about her grief with her own mother and losing her mother and that grief. And she's like, that grief is who I am. And I felt like for a moment she was that she was reaching her, until Agnes at this point comes along and sees it. And it's like, no, I think you need to leave, young lady. So we see that Agatha does not want Monica there. And we also kind of calls back.
Never did. Yeah.
Calls back to when Agnes was talking to Vision and saying Monica's the only one without a house here, right? Like getting attention to who Monica is. And so that's very clear that that Agnes or Agatha does not want Monica to reach through to Wanda. She does not want that. So that was very interesting. But before we get to the thing with Agatha, let's go to Vision and Darcy, which was so funny and cute. I loved that aspect of it. Darcy had suddenly come into the circus. She couldn't remember who she was. And she was like, I'm an escape artist. It's not really what I choose, but I couldn't do the other thing. I thought it was so cute. And it was very much Marvel domesticated into Modern Family. And I thought that was a great moment. And then Vision's like, hey, you remember me? Like, we had a moment, you know? Like, you lost eyes. That was a moment. She's like, I don't know what you're talking about. And I just love that because that was such a serious moment last episode, right? That moment between them. Because like I told you, I had, my heart hurt a little bit seeing Vision being torn apart. And then they play it down like, they play it up kind of funny, like, well, you and I had a moment. You remember that? We lost eyes, And I thought that was very cute. And so we have a whole thing where he's supposed to be working with her to go on stage. He's new, the guy comes up to him, are you the new clown? And they have a whole
makeup already. Come on.
Yeah, like, come on. He's like, what? And so they have a back and forth. And then eventually Vision unlocks Monica's brain, Darcy's brain, which he's able to do. And she's like, whoa, hello to me again. And I love that because Darcy's a great character. She's a really fun character to have around. She's not like just comedic relief or anything like that. She actually plays into the story, which is a great balance. Because sometimes you get characters that really are just kind of annoyingly comic relief, but I feel like with her and even even her and even Wu play a very good, nice line where you want them around. You're not feeling like they take away from the plot. And so they get into the truck. They steal the truck. It's a whole thing. And Darcy explains the Vision. She's like, you and Wanda are meant to be together. And I love that part because I hope that that's a little nod to the fact that maybe Vision will be allowed to live. But she also knows, she was like, I don't understand. She explains to him that Hayward wants him, but then she said, I don't understand why you can't leave this area. Why can't you leave the hex? What is it about this hex that keeps you, even if it's Wanda that created the reality? And so we don't know that yet, right? We don't understand because the force field is kind of new. Force field is very much WandaVision. Because in the comics, when Wanda would change stuff, she changed all of reality. It wasn't just a certain area. She changed all of reality. So in all of reality, there wasn't anywhere to leave. It was what it was. In this particular case, it's a specific area. And so they've created this problem, the storyline issue in here where Vision can't leave for some reason. So, and then we also see that there were obstacles keep getting put in front of them as they're trying to get over to home. So, Damon, did you think that was Wanda doing that? Because Vision seems to be thinking that it's Wanda that's keeping him from getting there. I kind of thought it might have been Agatha.
It could have been. At this point, we don't know if Wanda was doing that purposely, because I believe she did say something to the kids as far as, well, if he don't want to be here, he doesn't have to be here. Do you remember her saying that to the kids?
Yeah, but do you think she senses that Vision doesn't want to be there, or does she, or is Agatha keeping him away, and Wanda's just assuming that Vision is choosing to stay away?
Possibly. She know he tried to leave. She know that. That's why she spreaded the force field to cover more. Mm-hmm. She know he tried to leave. I figured that's what she was talking about. Like, if he doesn't want to be here,
yeah,
I can't force.
Thinking about leaving the force field, but she expanded it to keep him alive.
True, but I guess that's what she was dealing with. Going through whatever she was going through that episode. So we see that Agnes controls a lot. She controlling Quicksilver.
In a way, and we got to talk about that. I got some theories, but so Ray is saying, I think at this point it was Agatha placing all the role, but I think so too, because Vision has a way of getting through to Wanda because Wanda loves him. So I think Agatha, if you see if that she pointed into, she put herself in between Wanda and Monica, that for whatever reason, Agatha does not want Agatha does not want Wanda to stop this thing for whatever reason that we're getting. So
Yo Magic.
Yeah, Yo Magic, which we have to talk about. And Red Eyes, of course, is pointing out that Vision can't survive outside of the bubble. And I think the question is, why can't he survive outside of the bubble? You know?
Mm-hmm.
But Agatha met him at the stop sign. Exactly. And the question is, when Agatha had that whole thing of, you know, telling him what it was that to get him to leave? Like, why did she do that?
I think they know that, because like I said, for a minute, he'll fall back into, I guess, the little thing they got going, but then he always wait, like, hold up. Just like this episode when he was sitting there doing the interview, and he just like, oh, hold up, why am I in the, and took that
was so funny. He was like, why am I even talking to get this out of my way? Yeah.
Like, I think he falls, you know, into the same little trance that everyone else is in, but he's able to come up out of it. And I think that Agatha probably sees that, like, he's gonna mess things up for us.
Yeah.
So maybe we should try to get him out of here.
Mm-hmm. And eventually, like you said, I don't know how I missed this part, but eventually after that part, you said that he phases out and Darcy is like, I'll meet you there.
She's in a truck. He phases out, goes through the
because I did wonder. I was like, can't Vision? I was like, can't Vision fly? Why doesn't he just grab Darcy and fly over there? Like, yeah, that was kind of weird, but I got for the comedic purposes, because he finally does realize, like, why am I even sitting? Why are we sitting in traffic? I can fly. Ra saying, I think if Vision is out the way, Agatha can siphon Wanda's powers. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Stay focused instead of worrying about Vision.
But her whole purpose of doing this, in a way, was Vision. So I don't know where she thinks, like, that's what has to be revealed, because I'm pretty sure next episode Agatha is going to give her plan, her overall monologue of why she's doing what she's doing, of course. Kat is saying, I agree, Ray. Agatha doesn't want Vision to come back because he'll watch the kids. Now Agatha has the kids and Wanda to herself. That's what she wanted. And Michael is asking, do you think Vision is actually Vision? I think he's definitely Vision, although, like he said in this episode, he's being told things that almost feels like it happened to somebody else. So the question is, why can't he remember everything? Because even, and we'll talk about why that is, even fake Quicksilver or Quicksilver from another place remembered at least how he kind of died. Vision doesn't remember anything.
Mm-hmm.
You know? Red Eye saying Agatha didn't place the roadblocks. If that was the case, Vision wouldn't have reached the bubble when he met Agnes at the stop sign. Agnes would have tried to stop him. But this is the thing, Red Eyes. Like Damon just said, maybe she wanted him to try to push through so that Wanda would expand the perimeter or something.
She was faking at that stop sign. She wasn't under no control. She didn't make a wrong turn. She was there for a reason. I think that reason was to get Vision to try to leave.
Yeah, because why tell him you're dead? Oh my gosh, am I dead because you're dead? Why do that? Why not just be like, hey, Vision, where you going? Let's go back to town. Everything's great.
Remember the first time he was showing, he was asking her what's going on, and he was saying, I think this started as subconscious. He was, trying to get her to, and then the doorbell happens, and we now know that Agatha made to try to get her off that. She made Quicksilver appear wherever she got him from, whether it be the multiverse or if he's somebody else. He seems like he's just a goon to her at the end of this episode.
Ray is saying, I think Vision was recreated, not resurrected. So he is a different entity. See, that's interesting. But then I wonder, because I do think him and Wanda's love is real, right? No, so how could he remember his love for her if he wasn't who he was? And still that inner thing of him of wanting to save others over himself, which is what he was always about in a way.
No, he definitely feel that. Because that's the first thing he said when he got out. Was people in there that they need help. But like I was saying, every time they said, you got to help me, and they would use the word she. And I said, I might not be talking about Wanda.
Yeah, maybe you're talking about Agatha.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we got Vision finally going. So hopefully in the next episode we'll have some kind of thing of maybe Monica and Vision coming together to save, and Darcy coming together to save Wanda if she ends up needing saving. But then we get to the big reveal, right, y'all? Wanda goes in the house, because Agnes brings her over, and we get the reveal because Wanda's wondering where her children are. She goes downstairs. Agatha seemed to have no issue with her going downstairs. So it seemed like
she said
they're downstairs in the
they're probably playing in the basement.
But you know what I'm saying? Like, this is the part where it seems like Agatha is okay with revealing herself to Wanda for some reason, right? So, and also up to this point, we got glitches, like stuff was changing. We didn't know what was going on. So, and it was kind of weird in Agatha's house too. What we had was Wiccan telling Aunt Agnes, he was like, "You're quiet." He was like, "I like it here." And he was like, "Cause it's quiet." And he looks at her and is like, "You're quiet." And it's like as though there's no, because everyone else's emotions are going on, but for some reason Agatha doesn't have underlying things going on, right?
He doesn't hear. He don't read.
He doesn't hear anything.
Yeah, he's a telepath. And that's how I knew once that happened. I said, "Oh, she got something. It's like some type of magic blocker in that house. Something's going on."
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Yeah. And so what we end up getting is, there also is a fly on the wall, a random fly. Oh my gosh, guys, I cannot stand the sound of flies. I have turned off movies horror movies, because they play too much on flies. And that fly, I was like, oh, what is going on? I like the bunny, Scratch, which also played into Damon's theory when he first had saw that her bunny was named Scratch. And Agatha in the comics has a son named Nicholas Scratch. So you were right on that too. Mm-hmm. And so
you ever notice this though? You ever notice that when we do see the Quicksilver, we don't never see the bunny? We've seen the bunny, but we don't never see them together.
Okay, I think no, I'm gonna stop you on that. I don't think the bunny is Quicksilver. No, sorry.
She's making that bunny human.
Maybe then maybe Evan is really her son or something. That could be something.
Could be.
Bannon is saying it's like an amnesic suffering because of intense trauma in terms of Vision not remembering things. Ray is saying she made the whole reality. His core being is who he is, but the experience those prior of WandaVision were not his. Okay, so it seems like there's a little bit of division in the comments. Let us know in the replay section. And also, if you have not given this video a thumbs up yet, please do so, because we love slicing and storytelling with you. And also, if you haven't, subscribed, please do so as well. And let us know, because there seems to be a little bit of a division. Some people are saying that Vision is a recreation, and others are saying it's really him, but maybe she took out the trauma of what happened before that. And
that's why you won't remember it.
Yeah, that's why he doesn't remember it. So Bannon is also pointing out the fly that we saw, the fly on the thing. And Bannon is asking, who else thinks the fly is Mephisto?
Now, remember,
it was kind of weird that they pointed out to the fly. What do you think?
I thought every animal figure on here was Mephisto. You remember I said this? I said I think they like putting him through animal stages. I thought the lobster was him. I thought the what came after the lobster? Was it the bunny then the dog? No, it was
she killed the dog.
She say she killed the dog.
She said she killed the dog. She did kill the dog, and that's why I'm saying Agatha is a foe.
I said, damn dog. I said the dog the flowers and died because she just popped up out of nowhere with the dog.
Yeah, she was like, and I killed Sparky too, yeah. like the Wicked Witch of the West. Couldn't stand that part.
I always thought that every animal. I thought the dog was Mephisto too. Mm. I thought every animal: the bunny, the dog, the stork.
Mm. Well, no, I don't think the stork was, because the stork kept going back and forth. The stork was glitching.
Yeah, yeah.
I think Bannon might be onto something about the fly, because such a gross thing, right? To be there randomly, because this is a world where Wanda can have anything she wants there. So it's kind of like creating a world and you still create mosquitoes. Like, why would you do that, right? Why are you going to create flies that have thousands of germs? That's like creating roaches that have that. You're not going to have that kind of thing in some mystical place you're doing. So why is a fly, a big old fly at that there? Right? Yeah. Why create that kind of thing there? And I do think you might be onto something that might be Mephisto of some part.
And wasn't around doing then neither.
When? Who?
When they showed the fly. Where was he at this whole episode?
The bunny?
No, I'm talking about Pietro.
Pietro was at okay. Maybe Pietro was the fly.
Where was he?
I don't know.
Where was he at? Where did you go out to say he was at?
I was gonna say he was around somewhere.
You know what I mean?
He came on the after credits. Yeah.
Yeah, you ain't see him to the end. So where was he at?
Yeah. So then we find out as Wanda goes into the basement, it gets real eerie, real fast. And it's pretty much, she comes around, Agnes comes around and she says, you didn't think you were the only magical girl here, did you? And to Wanda, and basically says, my name is Agatha Harkness. Nice to meet you. And then we get the Munsters sound with lyrics to it of it was Agatha all along, and that was very cool. Everything kind of came in. She came down and she's like, and I killed Sparky too, ha ha ha. I just love that reveal. That was a great reveal, and they really did throw us off in the previous episode, probably very much on purpose, because they probably figured by then people would figure it was Agnes. And so they threw us off last episode, and then we get that with this one. And so what did you think of that reveal, Damon? I know part of it. Yeah, I know part of it is that you felt vindicated.
Mm-hmm.
You felt vindicated.
No, I knew. I think what was it, the second episode? I said that I think this is Agatha. They let us know.
What do you mean they let us know?
They let us know when she had the thing on. Mm-hmm. And once you and if you knew about the comics, you knew who that was. So it was like, oh, this is definitely who that is. Mm-hmm. To me, it was no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Mm-hmm.
Vera, go ahead. No, I was going to say Vera is pointing out also in the chat that, and you hear the cicada sound when Monica is snooping in the end credit scene. So I think people are going with your thought process, Damon, that maybe Pietro is somehow connected to the fly and the bugs of some sort, and maybe that might be Mephisto of some sort.
And did you notice when they was in the basement? Whatever she did, the little purple thing, how it went over Wanda's like it basically like it went over her eyes or her, you know what I'm talking about? Mm-hmm. You notice that part?
When the purple went into her eyes.
Same thing kind of happened at the end with Monica.
Yeah.
Like, so I'm thinking either we know he ain't Agatha, but maybe
no. I feel like Monica's eyes turn purple, or they turn blue, like they were starting to turn.
I'm talking about when she stopped and looked at him, because her eyes was blue. From that whole time of her going to the house, snooping around.
Well, let's give it up. Okay, Alexandre, thank you so much for the super chat. I appreciate you too. Thank you so much. Chauncey, you are amazing. We love you so much. And I love talking stories and stuff with you all. This is so awesome to me. I love doing this. It's like one of the highlights of my day when I get to talk storylines. Damon knows we come from a mama who loves reading books and all types of things. So we're all about that life of storytelling and stuff. And I am always so appreciative of you all. So thank you so much. Damon, clap for Alexandre for the super chat. We love super chats on this channel, y'all. If you ever want to give a super chat and a shout out, and if you have any questions with your super chat, we always want to take a second, if you do a super chat and have a question with it, to answer it for you, because that's the incentive for a super chat as well. If you want to do that, if you want to ask us questions about our casting news and things like that. So thank you so much, Alexandre. Thank you for that. Well, let's get back to what we were saying, but yeah, I agree with you. Victoria is saying, well, the mailman was around when Sparky died, and then also when Monica and Wanda were debating. So I'm looking at the mailman some sort of way. I was thinking that too. The mailman stood out to me because the mailman had the boxes, but he kind of stopped. It was just like,
everybody
okay. But they
stopped.
kept going in on the mailman. Just remember when the kids were looking for the dog, and they were like, well, I'm sure your mother will find him. And he looks back.
Your mother will make anything. Yeah. I do remember that part.
What's going on with the mailman? Who's getting mail in this universe anyway? What boxes is he? Like, ain't nobody sending nobody nothing from outside. What is he delivering?
I guess it's part of the fabric of what's going on. Everything got to seem like it's normal. So you got the mailman doing what mailmen do. You had Dottie out there playing in the flowers. This is our first time seeing her since what, episode 2, right? Or was that episode 3? The blonde girl from
Dottie, yeah.
She was out there gardening.
Ayana from Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Yeah.
And
I was surprised to see her randomly there too. I was like, where is she coming from?
Yeah, she's out there gardening. You know, I guess everybody, you know, just to keep up with what's going on, what would be happening in a normal neighborhood. I guess that's what I figured it was.
Yeah. Caddis is saying, I think Monica's eyes change color depending on what she can see through her photon vision. Yeah, I didn't think it was the same as what happened to Wanda down in the basement. I think I don't know, because people are already surmising that Agatha did that thing to Wanda's eyes and now she's going to control Wanda. I don't know if it would be that easy. Maybe she's going to help Wanda see things. Maybe that's what she does. Like when, I don't know. I mean, do you think that when that thing happened to her eyes, Damon, that was Agatha taking over Wanda?
I don't know if it was maybe she was making her see things her way or something. We're gonna figure out. I could guess and say that I think maybe she was kind of taking over her mom.
Maybe, yeah.
You know, I don't think just me knowing that she's not stronger than Wanda is kind of making me. It's kind of hard to me to feel that she can take control of her mind completely.
Yeah.
You know, but
that's what I mean. Like, and why do it now? Why at this moment does she want to take over? You know, Kat is saying they turned purple in the mid-credit scene, meaning Monica may be under Agnes' spell as well. Hopefully Vision will arrive and save them. Okay. Yeah, I didn't see that. I didn't see her. I thought it was blue.
Oh, but look, that's why I said either maybe he is Nicholas Scratch because he's like a warlock. So
okay,
because the same, that's what I mean. Like when he said Snoopers will Snoop or whatever,
Snoop is gonna Snoop. Yeah,
when she turned around and looked at him, it's like she fell into the same trance.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking, like you said, he could be Mephisto. He could be Nicholas Scratch. I'm still sticking with. I don't think he's Quicksilver from another dimension.
Okay,
even though it might be possible. I just until
you just haven't liked Evan Peters as Quicksilver in this whole thing. You've been so against it. You've been against it since I've been saying it as really him. You're like, no, that's not him. It's Mephisto. And there wasn't even any reason. But before we get to that, y'all, let's give it up for Matthew in the chat with the $4.99 super chat. We love to see it. And Matthew says, it's so great to have strong Black voices in fandom. Thank you both and keep up the great work. Thank you so much, Matthew. Thank you for your support and slicing into storytelling with us, because we truly appreciate it. Thank you so much. And Alexandre with a question in the super chat. Let's give it up for Alexandre. Is asking, when are you like to play Black Canary in a movie? I don't know if my voice could. Maybe I'd be down for it. I don't know. I feel like I don't know. Who have I always wanted? You know, I was Wonder Woman back when we were kids, right? Dan? Well, I was a kid because you were 10 years older than me. But I was Wonder Woman. If I guess I'd probably play. I'll be honest with you. I'd probably play some kind of DC character. Probably. Let me know in the chat who y'all think I could play. Thing, if you want to. I don't know. I've never really thought about it. I love watching the stories more than being in it. But yeah. But thank you. Thank you again, Alexandria, and thank you again, Matthew, for that. And thank you all for joining us in the chat and also in the replay. Victoria is saying, okay, theory. So who are the kids then? The kids had to come through the hex, right? And then we have missing kids on the board and the milk carton. Who are the kids? What do you think, Damon? And let us know in the chat as well. And I'm going to still be thinking about what character I could play in DC, Alexandre.
I seen when the almond milk turned to the old school milk carton.
Yes.
And it showed the picture up there. I didn't like pause it and go up and actually see who the picture was of. Maybe I'll do that.
It did stand out that there was a missing kid, though. They haven't done that in a while.
That's what I thought it was. I thought it was just going back in time. She went from the almond milk, which everybody drinks now,
to the 2000s where they were doing that on cartons.
Yeah, and then it went back to the just the glass bottle of milk that's like 50s and 60s, right? The glass bottle of milk that I guess you'll put in the milk rack and sit outside, and the milkman to come pick it up.
Yeah. I'm not sure. I did think it, like we know, Victoria, you're well aware of, they don't do anything by chance in this show, right? Even the cereal that Wanda picked up, Sugar Snaps.
Sugar Snaps.
Thanos snapping, right?
Mm-hmm.
That was significant as well. So I would also believe there's maybe something with the kids. So I could definitely see that. Red Eyes is saying, I like how all the magic people have different color magic. Wanda red, Agnes purple, and Monica blue. But the question is Monica a magic person, though, or is she more so affected scientifically?
I mean, that's what I mean. We know when she becomes she's the second Captain Marvel. Because I know they took it, they changed it from it being the man, which was the first, very, very first Marvel. They switched that and they made it Carol Danvers, right?
Yeah.
So
there was a male Marvel in the comic.
Yeah, but
in a way, Jude Law was kind of playing that character, and then in a way, he was her mentor. But then Captain Marvel is the first Captain Marvel of the MCU in a way.
Yeah. So I know her powers was cosmic, not magic.
Yeah, so I don't know, but I do like the different coloring.
Spectrum's power, was it from magic or was it cosmic too?
Spectrum, I can't remember. Let us know in the chat, y'all. Do y'all think Monica, because she came through Wanda's thing, is going to be magical? Because they're kind of, I don't want to say they're retconning. I'm going to say that they're evolving Wanda's powers to be more mystical, because they did talk in interviews about her being more of a sorceress now than just simply.
I mean, she got to be. That's where you get the witch at from Scarlet Witch. Yeah. That's why I think they haven't called her that yet. I believe I'm hoping by the end of this series, she will earn the name Scarlet Witch. Okay. That's what I always thought this was about.
Okay.
With them bringing that with them bringing in a witch, Agatha Harkness, to bring out that she is a sorcerer or witch, however you want to call it, and then she's gonna earn her name as the Scarlet Witch. That's why, but that's actually why her powers are red.
Red Eyes is saying she is not under Agnes' control. Monica's new power allows her to see through magic, just like how she saw things when she came out of the bubble. So Red Eyes is going against the grain and saying that that's not what's happening, that she could just happen to see it. Alexandre, thank you again for the super chat, and I'm going to highlight this. I think that Quicksilver comes from another timeline. Thank you. I hope that it will bring Colossus and Domino from Deadpool 2. I want Punisher in the MCU. I definitely think there's a truth to that, and we got to get to that because, I agree with you. Damon doesn't agree with you. But I agree with you that I do think this Quicksilver is from a different timeline. And recent news showed us that Disney or Marvel got the rights back to Jessica Jones and Punisher recently. So I don't know if they're going to keep with what happened on the Netflix series of them, but they definitely have the rights to them again. So this is shown. And, they did say Deadpool, the next Deadpool, they said Deadpool was part of the MCU. Well, how do you explain that if Deadpool knows the X-Men and things and Colossus and Domino and stuff? Well, this is how you do it because he's in the same thing of the Evan Peters Quicksilver. So I actually agree with you, Alexandre, that I hope as well that Evan Peters maybe is some kind of other Quicksilver under control of Agatha. And that's why, to me, it points out that she wasn't able to bring she wasn't able to bring the Pietro that Wanda knows into this universe because he was already dead. And I don't think Agatha has the power to do that like Wanda does. But she could bring another Pietro from another dimension, right?
Or maybe someone that's more powerful than her can.
Oh, Mephisto.
I'd go with that. I'd go with that.
Well, this actually connects to what we have to get to regarding the Nexus commercial, y'all. Who peeped the Nexus commercial? Did you make the connection to what Nexus was about? Because we had the Nexus commercial, which I loved. Once again, 2000s of side effects may include, and all the things they list in it. And they did the same thing. Side effects may include you having to face your feelings, moving on with your life, realizing the world doesn't revolve around you. I love that. And so
it may give you more depression.
It may lead to more depression facing your feelings. I love that. And so what we have is Nexus is actually in the MCU, right, y'all? It is called in the MCU. Well, not the MCU. Now it's in the MCU, perhaps. Yeah. But in the Marvel Comics, it's called Nexus of All Realities, which is a magical area in Marvel that is a gateway to other dimensions. That it is right there. And this is why I'm holding on to the idea that this is a Quicksilver from a different timeline somehow.
When in the commercial, they actually said that. They said it's to anchor you to your reality, your own reality, or to a different reality.
Exactly, or whatever reality you want. Because they did say
reality of your choice.
Exactly, because they said to realize the world doesn't revolve around you, or does it? You know, like that kind of thing. I love that, and I definitely think it introduces the whole thing of the nexus of the other dimensions. Matthew is saying in the chat, so funny how this show started out like, I don't know. But then since about episode 3 or 4, it's become one of the best things in the entire MCU. Agreed.
It was no burn. But when it got going, boy, did it get going.
Exactly. Ray is saying Monica Power is not magic based at all. It's all science in relation to her powers. Also, she would be great as Storm from X-Men Evolution costume. Yeah. Ross saying, I was just looking up Dottie and read she had a hand double. I'm curious why. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I wonder why. What's her hand gonna be? A lot of people in the chat are saying Monica's powers are definitely science based and that she's seeing energy. Yeah.
So are they going with the thing saying that the radiation that's in the force field, being that it's like one of the stones, it's some type of cosmic force, and that's still like her getting the her cosmic powers or something?
Maybe
that's what they going with.
I think so, because isn't Wanda's power, like, the thing is
her power was from the stone, and the
exactly
stone needed during the Big Bang.
It was around the Big Bang.
Yeah, and
that's energy that has always been there.
What do you call it? CMBR energy.
Yeah, CMBR. Yeah.
So that we know that's what's in the force field.
Yeah,
that's what Darcy picked up. Said so maybe if this is definitely with a retcon on her powers in this, but hey.
Yeah. Raya is saying, yes, Wanda is a Nexus character, which means no matter what multiverse she's in, she will remain herself. Yeah. Exactly. Also, for what Raya is referring to, for those who might not know about Nexus, is in the Marvel comics, you have what I was just explaining, the Nexus of all realities, but you also have Nexus beings, which are beings that can control the reality and stuff around them. In the comics, Scarlet Witch is a Nexus being. Now, I don't know if they're going to go that far in saying who's a Nexus being, or if they're just going to stop at Nexus of all realities being a tool of some sort or a place, but it's definitely being introduced here, which is very significant, I think, y'all. Victoria is saying Nexus commercial is the reality stone. Okay. Yeah. What do you think, Damon?
I mean, we know that I thought it was referring to the nexus of realities. That's why
I thought that too. Yeah,
reality stone is definitely, I could go with that.
I think it would be good to get away from the stone kind of stuff too, because I feel like because of Avengers, like the trilogy of Avengers and Endgame stuff, like so much stuff kept getting connected to the stones. I mean, and it's like there's so much bigger powers and stuff in the Marvel world.
Think about it. This is
because
of how she got her powers. And basically what her powers consist of. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, yeah, we could step back from the stones. It would be great.
Because I just think it narrows what they can do sometimes. Because now you have to try to relate everything back to. So even Vision being alive, we have to relate it back to he doesn't have that stone in his head anymore. How can it be brought back? But we know in the comics, it wasn't even the stone that was originally how Vision became Vision. The stone had no play in Vision's life in the comics, but now Vision's whole life force is connected to this stone because of all the stuff about the stone. And I'm hoping somewhere in the midst of this, they'll figure out a way to bring in the comics version of how Vision can function without a stone in his head.
They said it in this. There was a possibility that he would be able to survive without the stone in his head.
Okay. Yeah, but they couldn't get to it in time because Thanos showed up. Kat is saying, I think Monica was exposed to something before she was snapped, which is why she wasn't concerned about her cells turning. Entering and exiting the hex is adding to her transformation. Okay.
But I mean, it could be. This is the thing. Besides the Captain Marvel first movie, I don't think have we seen Monica in any other thing before this WandaVision?
No, this is Monica's. I think this is Monica's first. Is this y'all? Let us know. I think this is Monica's first appearance as an adult. She was, of course, in the kid, but yeah, I think this is her first appearance as an adult.
So I wouldn't know what she had went to before the snap.
Yeah, maybe we'll see that when her and Captain Marvel kind of have to talk, because we also know there seems to be some bad blood on her end towards Captain Marvel.
Now, what Vera is saying right there,
I assume Agatha has been there for years, and this town is a place of power. If Nexus, because we know in the comics, Nexus is in New Orleans, but they might have it so Nexus is placed in New Jersey in this one.
But also, remember who Agatha is. She's one of the survivors of the Salem
witch trials.
Yeah, but she was also in a town that was something like New Salem. And it put them in a town full of witches. I remember I had brought that up. A couple episodes. I was like, maybe Westview is New Salem.
Mm-hmm. Maybe Westview is New Salem, because it looks like that basement had been there for a while. Yeah, right. The basement of her house. Yeah. Victoria is saying each commercial shows a piece of the stones. The kid dies from the last one because of the time. That's what I mean by the stones. Yeah. Okay. No, okay. So you think then that the Nexus is the piece of the reality stone? So, okay. Yeah, I get you now. I get you. Yeah. Oh. Yeah. And, just a little, this is a picture of Agatha, y'all. She doesn't look like the one we got now. It's a very much an upgrade, but she's always played something of a friend and foe in a way to Scarlet Witch. And the funny thing is, like we were talking about, her first appearance is actually in Fantastic Four. Yeah. That's where she actually first makes her appearance. And in this case, her first appearance is in WandaVision with Scarlet Witch. She has a son named Nicholas Scratch, which goes to the bunny that is Scratch. So who knows what that's about. So yeah, there's definitely
we still don't know who Ralph is.
We don't know who is?
Ralph.
Oh yeah, she keeps saying her husband Ralph, right? Who is Ralph, y'all? And I think Damon's main thing is that Ralph is indeed Mephisto this whole time, right?
Let's go, yeah, or nightmares. I mean, yeah.
Yeah. And Agatha was also the one that helped Scarlet Witch originally forget about her children that were actually parts of Mephisto. So we had that as well. So, we've got a little bit of an updated version of Agatha. She's still an old woman in that regard. This is more of an updated version. I don't know why it seems to be someone from Star Wars right there.
I don't
know if that's a crossover or something, but that was the picture I saw. And they claimed it was Agatha. I don't know.
Agatha's holding a lightsaber too. I don't know.
Maybe this is the wrong picture. I don't know, y'all. But that's who they said was Agatha. I do see the stone in her hand, though. Right? That's a stone.
What's her name?
Yeah. So I don't know. Disney owns them all, so maybe there's a there's a thing there. I don't know. Crossover,
right?
Yeah, that's what I was saying. So I don't know. Very Star Wars, Vera. Very Star Wars going on there. And Alexandre, thank you again for the super chat. It's saying Vision doesn't need the stone. This is the damages of the stone removal that killed him. In Endgames, they started to remove it properly in Wakanda. Yeah, exactly. That's what Damon had mentioned. But the thing was, they didn't get a chance to finish it. So that leaves hope, right, Alexandre, that they could actually do something, and he can become, and I'm hoping, I have my fingers crossed, because I really do think Vision and Wanda deserve a little bit of happiness. And I hope we get that. And, and you point out a very good point, Alexandre, that there is a chance, and maybe they'll figure that out finally. If Hayward was trying to get him to come back somehow, then maybe he has some idea how that could be done. So
I don't know. I know he had tried I guess they said he had tried everything and he couldn't do it.
Yeah.
But now he's probably intrigued at how Wanda got made it happen. Hey, it's something about that Hayward guy that's fishy though.
Yeah.
And if they did take a storyline from the animated Avengers Assembly thing, that'd be cool.
Yeah. So I'm trying. Okay, so it came up. It was a little bit tech difficulty, y'all. One of the things we also see as you can see on one side, is the book we saw down in Agatha's basement.
Yeah, they do.
And then we see a picture of Darkhold, the book that people have been talking about. Because some people, when they saw that book, they were like, "Oh, that's the Darkhold," which is what exactly is the Darkhold, Damon? Do you know the exact definition of it?
I believe it's I know it was on the Agents of Shield.
Agents of Shield. That's where it made its first live action performance
of it. I believe that was the episode where the Ghost Rider was in.
Mm-hmm.
I would have to go back to really watch the episode, but I believe it's a book. Probably holds some type of some type of dark power within it.
Mm-hmm.
Something like that.
Well, the comparison here is, and Victoria, I agree with you. Marvel will take all of our theories and say, nope, it's aliens. I mean, they are going intergalactic, right? Right? They are going intergalactic. We got the Inhumans coming up and the Eternals. So very much so, they could just be like, nah, y'all all wrong. Like, nah, that's not it at all. It's ET. So we got the comparison. And I feel like with this comparison, we do see that it's not the same book. It is not. I feel like MCU or Marvel is they're not sloppy or not paying attention to detail enough, even though we all know they've had a hard time always connecting Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. to the movie sometimes, or crossing over the best way they can. I don't think that they would allow this book to look so differently and then be saying, oh, it's really Darkhold, because that would be kind of, because Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. is connected to MCU, right, Damon? Yeah. Like, it's not separate and apart.
Like I said at the beginning,
they don't do the best job connecting all the time.
They was actually trying to link up the movies with the series. Yeah. When what's the name came back, I remember he died, and
that was the main connection for me, was that he was coming back all the time. I'm like, yeah, because I love his character. But other than that, it'd be kind of like when big stuff is going on, I'm like, well, where's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.? What they doing? And they never show them in the movies, and it's like, I guess they just don't exist when the big stuff happens. No. But so y'all,
you did see was Coulson.
Exactly. That's the only person you did see. And he has a whole team all the time. And somehow they always disappear in the movies. So, so guys, what are y'all thoughts? Because I'm looking at this comparison, and I know there's some theories, but I don't think it's Darkhold. I think it's maybe her grimoire, as other people were saying, a witch's grimoire, which is all her source of power. Or like you were saying, Damon, before we started, that it's maybe some type of hex book. That has a lot of powers. Clearly, this is
because she was like she helped Wanda get control of her hex magic.
Yeah,
so I always figured she was like maybe a sort of like tutor for her. Yeah, that's what I always thought it was going to be. Well, we see now that
kind of a foe at this moment.
Yeah, she's in this for some nefarious reason. It'll come up.
Yeah. Red Eyes is saying that book is not the Darkhold because Ghost Rider took away that book to another dimension.
Yeah,
but
it was
different dimensions. It's been some time, maybe in some kind of course. I think that's where people are coming up with that theory. But I actually agree with you, Red Eyes. I don't
remember what you said about Nexus. Maybe
dimension. That's what I'm just saying.
So maybe
they have to.
And let's not forget that Mephisto and the Ghost Rider are also connected.
How so? Tell us, for people who might not.
I guess the demon that takes over the Ghost Rider when he becomes the vengeance, the ghost, the vengeance that he becomes. Mephisto had captured that demon, and when he makes the deal with the people who become the Ghost Rider, that is the demon that possesses them when they become it. So really, it's Mephisto who actually makes the deal with the person that becomes the Ghost Rider.
Oh, so you think maybe somehow he got a hold of it again? Maybe that's why he took it to
it wouldn't be hard. That's what I mean. Like it wouldn't if they wanted to do it that way. It ain't far fetched to think that okay, that being through the nexus of dimensions, they got their hands on the dark hole, and they brought it into WandaVision.
Okay.
It wouldn't be far fetched.
Yeah, it wouldn't be a far fetched to make the connection. I get you. I actually agree with that. Cage is saying Cage. That's my nickname for him. That's not how y'all pronounce that name, but he said it was okay that I call him Cage. Cage is saying they'll bring back all white Vision, but let us hope they dive Vision the whole Great White Hope thing, and this is coming from a white guy. Like they okay. Cage is saying now if they portray Vision as more just being translucent and white, it definitely look better. Yeah, I don't think they could just do straight up white because I mean with so much color on screen and stuff, it might not.
Yeah, I mean, when he phases out and goes, that maybe they could just have him that phased out color he be.
Yeah, something like that. Victoria saying, "Oh, could this be why the police have never heard of Westview? Is this town in another realm of time?" Or time. Maybe if this has always been Agatha's stronghold, that basement and everything seems like it's been set up pretty nicely for some time. Maybe it's always been something of a magical spot. Maybe it's always been where the Nexus is as opposed to New Orleans, which is where it's originally at in the comic books. Maybe it's really been in Jersey all this time. So I think the question is, because Agatha did say, hey, girl, you didn't think you were the only magical girl in town, because maybe Agatha's telling her, I've been here.
A lot of stuff that I think will lead up to stuff like was it like the second episode when she was like, the devil's in the details. It's like she says a lot of slick stuff. Like, no, I mean, maybe we got to go back and just listen to all the little things that
all the time Agatha slipped up and gave us hints of who is really in control here. Yeah, so I think there's a lot of things. Damon, what are your main theories going forward? Because we had Monica come across Pietro later. My theory is I do think that is a Quicksilver from another dimension, as Alexandre was saying. I think Agatha can't bring people back to life from nothing. And so she grabbed another Quicksilver and used him. Because how would she know what that Quicksilver looks like, right? Unless she's been to another dimension, which we know because of Nexus and stuff. So she's been to another dimension. She knows what the other Quicksilver looks like. And she brought him over and is controlling him somehow. So I do think that that's Quicksilver. I do still contend that he's being controlled.
I mean, if we given Agatha saying that she's powerful enough to have been to another
dimension.
Another time dimension and all.
The mentor, why wouldn't she be powerful like that?
I mean, yeah, it's possible. I'm not saying it ain't possible. I don't go with that theory. I believe he's not. I don't think he's Quicksilver at all. Okay. I think he's just somebody that's playing them. He's either Mephisto or maybe he's Nicholas Scratch.
Think it's her son.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I don't know if they play that up, but you you never know. He could also be the bunny, and she just makes him. You're Scratchy.
Okay.
You know?
Red Eye saying good point, but because she knows what another Quicksilver looks like, she could have just created one and not brought one over. But why bring one if she's trying to get Wanda to be calm? Why not bring the brother she knows? Why do it to someone who looks completely different and that Quicksilver of all people?
True.
So I don't know. Maybe it's just one of those random casts where they just wanted to make people excited.
No, I think he's here for a reason.
To explode. Like, there's a lot going on here. So much going on. That's why I'm so glad this show is weekly, because you really need to stop and think about everything. I don't think I would have been able to enjoy it as much as I have had they just been a binge kind of a show and rushing to the big reveal. I don't think it would be as cool as it's been some of these reveals. So he wasn't in the Red Eye saying he wasn't. No. I mean, if we're going to be honest, Evan Peters is probably going to be demanding more of a salary than Aaron is. I mean, they're both pretty good, but Evan's been doing American Horror Story and stuff. Yeah. And he's well known.
No,
This is Marvel.
I believe that's why I believe he's something bigger in this.
Yeah, that's another thing. And I actually would love if he was really Mephisto, because that would play into maybe him being the big bad in in the next one that Wanda's supposed to be in. So we'll see about that. So what are your theories past with aside from with Quicksilver? Where do you think this is going? Do you really think that Mephisto is going to make an appearance?
I believe that there's someone else behind Agatha.
Okay, so you're standing by the fact that it's Mephisto.
I believe it's a Ralph, for real.
Okay, you think there's a Ralph and Ralph is Mephisto?
I believe somebody's Ralph.
Keeps talking about a husband. Yeah. Why not just play it like she's a single guy? She's a single woman.
I believe somebody's Ralph. We just haven't seen him yet.
Mm-hmm.
I know for certain somebody's getting revealed. I don't know if it's going to be the engineer or it's going to be Ralph. But somebody's getting. We know that.
Me too. I think we're still getting the engineer somehow, and we got to get whoever the next, because they did say there's supposed to be another reveal somehow. Yeah, another reveal. Like a very big cameo, and that the Evan Peters one wasn't actually the big cameo, which is pretty interesting, because that was actually a very cool moment for many people. But if they're saying there's an even bigger one coming, I mean, I'm excited about that. So, Red Eyes is saying if Mephisto is going to be in Doctor Strange, I don't know. I don't think he shows up on the TV series. They may just name drop him. Maybe that's what Agatha does, saying that she's connected to something bigger, and her main boss is Mephisto, and she's planting the things for him. Because also Mephisto is Mephisto really? I think he's connected also to Fantastic Four a little bit too, right? I mean, he's connected to Doctor Strange, sure.
He's connected to Doctor Strange, Spider-Man, Thor. He's connected to a lot of different. A lot of them.
Marvel I mean, there might be something to hold them off. So maybe Agatha.
All those like. Well, I ain't gonna say mystic type people besides Doctor Strange, Wanda, and maybe you consider Ghost Rider too.
Yeah.
Along the line. But Spider-Man for sure.
Yeah.
Spider-Man, that's my favorite character. So,
yes,
I know he's related to Spider-Man for certain.
And if Spider-Man is doing
reason that Mary Jane.
If multiverse is such a big thing, Mephisto's probably going to be playing into that too. Mephisto might be the next Thanos of Phase 4.
Yeah,
right?
Definitely.
I agree with you that Mephisto is going to be the big. You got to have a bigger than life kind of character. They did it with Thanos on the intergalactic side. So when it Phase 4 be more of this mystical devil-like creature. I mean, if you're going to pick a big bad, you can't really pick. I like Doctor Doom, but you can't really pick him for the big stuff in this sense, except for Fantastic Four. But if you want him to be someone that all of them have to go up against, I think you're going to have to do a Mephisto. I think Mephisto has to be the big bad of Phase 4, but I agree with others in saying that he probably wouldn't make an appearance in the TV series first. But Agatha has to be his precursor to let you know he's in the background.
Yeah. Who was the guy that said they said it's gonna happen in three things are gonna be Wanda first, Spider-Man, and then
that was Rob pointed that out. She pointed
that could be true. They won't show him in this series. They're just lead that way with Agatha leading that way. Then and then in Spider-Man, being it's about the multiverse. This new Spider-Man, it's about the multiverse too, right?
Yeah, because it's supposed to be Jamie Foxx is coming back. It seemed like it's the joke who isn't in the next Spider-Man, because they're bringing so many different Spider-Mans back, supposedly, and stuff like that. So it's definitely going to be different dimensions. Hence why I think Quicksilver could be from the other dimension. They could bring back multiple Spider-Mans. I don't know why we're so against the idea that this other Quicksilver could be coming in.
I mean, like I said, it's a possibility. I'm not saying it's not.
I think that's how. I think the way we get Deadpool and stuff at MCU and stuff is that there's going to be some weird merge of dimensions.
I mean, it's possible. You can't. I can't always be right. I mean, I've been right so far, but I can't always be right. So. Okay. Maybe you get one in.
Maybe I'll get one. You know what? Anyway, Shout out. Let's give a clap to Victoria for the super chat. And she's always dropping great points as well for the super chat. She's giving a big shout out to the chat dropping dimes, blowing her mind, as she said earlier. Thanks to Red Eyes, Vera, and Bannon. Yes, they have been dropping some big stuff.
Yes,
And she also added some others, Ray and Ra and others. And yeah, y'all, this chat is always popping. We are just, I mean, I hope there's a season 2 because I love talking WandaVision with all of you here and all of you in the replay. But I'm sure, and now that we know that MCU is kind of bringing it with all these other stuff, I'm sure there's other stuff we'll be covering. Damon's got to be covering Falcon and Winter Soldier on his upcoming channel, Fried Disciples and whatnot. I'm not really into Winter Soldier that much, so I won't be covering that one, but definitely want to be covering She-Hulk and Loki and stuff here. But
what Secret Wars, I believe, right?
Secret Wars. Yeah, there's a lot coming up that we'll be covering. So, and thank you all in the chat and also, those in the replay. It's always a great time with all of you. And thank you for super chats as well. And remember, if you, have a question that you want to ask or something and you really wanted to be given some time, please, super chat or a shout out or just, to support. It's always appreciated from all of you. Okay, so I asked the question in the beginning, which was, do y'all think ultimately that Agatha is going to be friend or foe? So I think so far in this whole conversation, it seems like most of y'all are thinking she's foe because a lot of you are in agreement that she's probably working with Mephisto. Now, I guess then I have a part 2 question to that is, do you think that's kind of messed up that they're kind of switching, doing this thing that sometimes they do with the women characters where now she's this villain when before she was supposed to be this mentor to Wanda, and now Wanda won't have a mentor. She has someone she has to fight.
Well, maybe
her potential mentor.
Maybe they'll, how they do it. Maybe she'll come in as the underling to the bad guy, but along her journey, she realizes that she's wrong and she becomes a good guy. We see that all the time. Right?
Yeah,
they can do that. We see that all the time.
Loki does it. Loki always does it.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah,
exactly. Loki always does it. He's actually a favorite now.
Yeah. Bannon is saying, I wonder if we're going to get a Wanda Doctor Strange battle in his movie. They do like to make our heroes fight each other. I think that would be if Wanda somehow stays on an opposing side.
Oh, I'm still waiting for the WandaVision battle.
Yeah. It's probably going to happen. I do wonder. I feel like by the end of this, Wanda won't unless she ends up being under control of Agatha. I don't see her staying on the negative side. I do think in some way Monica is going to reach into her, and Vision is also going to be able to, connect to her. Ben is also saying, love you guys. Wish I could be on more, but work. Love your channel, Chauncey. Hope to see more stuff like this. I try to watch your horror stuff, but horror. Yes, I know. That's why I try to do, a little bit of the, a lot more of the comics and stuff too. Cause I love talking MCU and DC stuff. And I figured why not also add that to my channel? Cause I love discussing that stuff and everything. So, I'm diversifying a little bit with it. Although I do love my horror, y'all. Mm-hmm. Red Eyes is saying, I never saw Agnes as a mentor, but Marvel always has to have a villain with the same power as the hero. So she definitely is the enemy. Michael is saying foe to rival all the way. I think, Vera is also saying friend, even though she killed the dog. Yeah, that's the one thing I'm not feeling, the dog killing. But then again, was the dog ever real? That's the other question. I mean, she killed the Sparky, but did Sparky really exist? That's because y'all, I love animals. We got 3 cats here. I don't like any of that. I don't know why Disney is even doing a Cruella DeVille origin story because she kills puppies. Check out my trailer reaction of that I put up recently. You can also check out my trailer reaction of Mortal Kombat for those of you who are excited about that. Lots to talk about, but I got an issue with her killing the puppy, so I don't know. Hold up,
so they're gonna do a origin story. They're gonna explain to us why she likes to kill puppies and make coats out of them.
Damn, check out my trailer reaction. I got the same question. I don't understand why they're doing that. But anyway, Victoria is saying she killed Sparky. Exactly.
I killed Sparky too.
Paige is saying Agatha, I think, will be a neutral in the long run, but just villainous at the very beginning. I agree with that. She gonna play the line, kind of how she does in the comics, where it's like depending on what she wants and what she thinks she can get out of it, she'll kind of,
blur the lines.
So I think we'll see. There's so much. I mean, I'm so excited about this series. I think this is the most excited I've been about a Marvel property in ever, to be honest, except for Thor Ragnarok, which I really love because I love the Hulk and his prominence in it. But WandaVision has been such a journey so far, and I'm excited to see what episode 8 brings us. So a lot of things to talk about. I think we covered pretty much all the kind of
that Thor Ragnarok. That was their way to sneak in their own little. We can't give Hulk a movie, but we
but we can make him a focus. Right? That was the only way we were going to get it, and I'm glad we got it. I'm not too sure about the next one they're doing, Thor in Love and all that. That looks kind of. I didn't think we needed to.
Might get to see old girl become.
I think that's stupid. I'm good with Natalie. I love Natalie Portman and everything else but the Thor franchise. I just felt like she wasn't enjoying herself. She left. We got a great show. We got a great movie. And then somehow she wanted to come back once the movies became fun again. And I'm like, you jump ship. Like, you know what I mean?
This is the movie. This is the movie for lack of a better term, the we thing. Because she I think in this movie, that movie coming up, she's gonna eventually become like the god of thunder, a female god of thunder.
For a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, okay. We got Valkyrie right there, though.
True. But Valkyrie ain't the god of thunder.
I'm not going to get into the racial aspects of how you have a black female that became so popular at Valkyrie, and then suddenly you bring the white woman back who wasn't that popular, and most people didn't like her character, and now you're going to give her like central focus in the plot line when Valkyrie is right there. But that's another topic, y'all. I won't get into it, but I got my thoughts. Okay, so I think we pretty much, you know me, Dan. I think we pretty much covered everything for this one, y'all. Thank you so much for joining us. Like I said, if you haven't given a thumbs up or anything yet, please do so. It's always appreciated. It helps, other people get a chance to discover the video, and also be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. And thank you all who are joining us, who have joined us in the live chat, and all of you in the replay. And please let us know your thoughts for the next episode. Last episode, I saw some really cool theories from some of y'all explaining what you thought was happening next and where you think things are going. So let us know in the replay comment section. Do you think Mephisto will be revealed at all? Do you think Mephisto is the actual villain? And if he is the villain, do you think they're going to show him in WandaVision? And the other question is, do you think we need a WandaVision season 2?
Yes.
Yeah, I agree.
We love the corrections. If anything that you've heard us say that was wrong in some way,
point it out, because there's so much of the Marvel thing, and we know our stuff to a certain degree because we're comic book kids. We have so many. Damon and I grew up on so many comic books. Our dad had so many, so we have plenty, but we miss stuff. So let us know. And thank you all again, and stay creepy out there, and also keep slicing into good storytelling. Have a great rest of your weekend, y'all. And next time we're going to be back on a regular Saturday. Thanks to all of you who still joined us on Sunday, because I know it was a switch, but we'll be back to our regular schedule program on Saturdays for the upcoming weekend.
Thank you guys for them super chats too.
Yeah, thank you so much. And thank you to all of you who keep the chat very lively.
Yes.
Appreciate it.
Bye-bye.